I was actually getting happier as I was watching the video because one of my issues was that I did not know where to focus on actually. So I know where I should start.
Very happy. I was very excited how we'll take that review. It's very natural that you have multiple iterations of wireframes. Nobody just gets only one iteration of wireframes. It's not possible.
Okay.
Note it, job worthy case study. I marked it.
Oh, okay.
How do I reduce the text is the wrong question. How do I make sure people can read this is the question. It's something which I can view on desktop and even on mobile. I can understand how to make a reward system in such a way that it is not cost intensive to the business. It was so good that I actually started comparing her with senior designers rather than comparing her with freshers. Start to finish. Phase 1, you started. Understanding problem statement. I could follow it nicely. Then what happened here?
It was clearly mentioned that I need to improve on these particular areas because that really played well. Yeah.
See, that's why I think that's why I got trusted. This particular snippet could have gone as a GIF over here as the problem or whatever. The amount of sincerity which you have shown even in completing all those modules, doing it and being very sincerely there, that transformation can be seen in your work. I think that is something which I'm very proud of. So be a doer. Yeah. So welcome to the review discussions. These review discussions will be conducted whenever we have the reviews. So what I've done is I've dropped in a bunch of reviews of the elite people who have submitted their case studies before the deadline. There were 6 people, and I have given my video reviews to all the 6 people. That is Shika, Kushagra, Shefali, Sriraj, Sriram Manogar, and Raj Gelot. So these 6 people I have given my reviews. So I've kept those review videos, pretty much detailed review videos on the reviews channel. So if you guys have not seen that, please go and check out this reviews channel, which I've added to level 2. So I've dropped in these 6 reviews. Each of these reviews cover multiple aspects, starting from an overall review, overall impression to say, and then talks about presentation and talk about the mobile views, right? And talk about UI and tool skills, product skills, UX skills, and all this. So, and there will be a conclusion as well. Each of these reviews, watching these reviews can make you actually go and learn a lot of pointers because you yourself might have done the project. You might have also done these kind of mistakes. This is not really very difficult to watch these things. Probably just take some 1 hour time or whenever you get time, just play any of these reviews and there's a lot which you can learn, right? So what we'll do is, of course, I do not have time to go and play all these review videos around because each of them will be between 15 to 20 minutes of time. So what will happen right now is, so the people who have been given these reviews, so I've asked them to go and gather some of their doubts which they've had after watching this review, because the review is in a very structured way, but I wanted discussions to go in a more unstructured way, and so that I can get to some of the root problems or root points which they can really improve on, right? So yes, so respecting the deadline these people have submitted, and I want to respect them back by giving them this review, right? I mean, with this review discussion. So each person will get a 20-minute slot. There are 4 people here, Abhisheka, Kushagra, Sriraj, and Shefali. So you'll get 20 minutes each, and let's quickly dive in. What I want you to say is each of these discussions can be very educating, right? Obviously, I'll allow you to pitch in your own questions as well. The primary focus will be the person whom I'm going to have the discussion with. But obviously, you can also pitch in your own questions. And so take as many notes as possible and make the most out of these review discussion sessions. Yeah. So firstly, congratulations and thank you for finishing the project, finishing the project on time, putting a lot of hard work into this project. And thank you so much for the commitment which you have shown. That was really great. So Kushagra, you might have watched your review.
Yes.
So of course, people might not have the full context of the review over here. But anyway, firstly, what's your first impression of the review? What did you feel?
Okay. So review was very detailed. What I felt, like a few things I myself was noted ki, okay, these are the shortcomings. People have already reviewed, friends and peers. They've been telling me, but a lot more things were there when you started discussing with respect to categories like UI skills, UX processes, and everything was so segregated that it really helped me realize, okay, this is the point where actually I'm lacking right now. So
Hmm.
it was clearly mentioned that I need to improve on these particular areas
Yes,
because that really played well. Like that was very helpful.
got it. Very good. Very happy that you liked it. Yeah. So yes, sir. So yeah. So what questions do you have?
Okay.
I know I'm forcing you to ask questions, but
No, that is okay. I need to ask something. Like from the complete review, I have only two things to ask because I'm a little confused what shall be done with that. For the part where you have given me a complete review about the visual part where I'm actually liking, do not need to defend anything or neither I have any questions for that. What I need to ask is the part where you say ki in the critical decision making, you said it was a little text heavy because a person might not understand the hierarchy of text in which I'm explaining a lot of things because you yourself got confused at the end ki what was the final feature place where I concluded to put the actual feature. So what do you want me to like? What should be the way of conveying that? Because in Medium there are only fixed fonts and fixed font styles, text styles to edit the text. So do you want me to improvise the situation with coming up with banners or images again, like for head?
Don't think more about the assets. Okay, first let
Okay.
we're going to get clarity. So the review was basically saying that it kind of felt overwhelming to actually consume this. Right?
Yes.
It was good. You put a lot of effort in trying to convert your decisions into visuals. That gave a very good impression. That's a good part of it. In the end, what was happening is when I myself wanted to understand the conclusion of this, it was a little overwhelming, right? That's when I said, so what you need to do is you stop thinking about what needs to be put over here and start thinking about how people can consume this. That's a small trick over here. Like if I'm reading it, first of all, you're assuming that I will read all these things in a, like I will read each and every sentence of this.
Yeah.
Instead, can you optimize it for a scan?
Okay.
Okay, these are some 3 decisions you have taken. That's fine. If I'm scanning, all I'm interested is what's the context of a problem or a sub problem which you're trying to talk about. What did you do and what happened at the end? Start, in between, and the end, which was clearly the conclusion. I don't know. I did not know. I also pointed out that there is no conclusion here.
Yeah.
I said that in the end, it was like hypothesis will lack discoverability. So what? And then I had to read this line saying 2.1, and then I was looking for where is this 2.1.
2.1. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
You can work out. So instead, right, start. What's the context? Okay, you wanted to, yeah, you wanted. So can you put a very clear heading saying that let's discuss about the placement of news story feature in a very clearly, probably use this particular H1 for this decision.
Okay.
Because you're saying it is limited, sorry, Medium has limited hierarchy and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Or probably use some emojis or something and clearly say that this is the start of this sub-problem, sub-context of this particular section. You start here, right? Build that particular story. You're saying use case 1, hypothesis 1, and all that stuff. You build that particular story. All the story is fine, multiple use cases you have considered and all that stuff. And then in the end, what do I understand? Therefore, this is the conclusion. This is the conclusion. I picked this and whatever, right?
Okay.
So start the middle part in the end. Even if I don't read just that particular heading, there is explanation and this is the conclusion. I still understand. Even if I just read the conclusion, I can still understand what you have done. Or probably I'll go to the conclusion. Thus, I conclude that I've selected this approach, this 2.1, whatever visually represented. That's the conclusion. And then go back, oh, what else is this 2 point? And then doesn't feel very overwhelming.
Okay.
But this feedback is over and above. That means what you've done is good, but I still need to give feedback. I need to tell you what next. That's why it's not like a grave mistake. It's obviously much better than putting chunks and chunks of text and nobody will read it. You've obviously put a lot of effort in explaining things in a very visual manner. That's very good. Yeah, I can explain more. I'll let you ask other questions as well first.
Yeah. The last question I have is at the end you told me like while you were reading the wireframing part, you said there's a bit confusion in presenting my own UX process maturity. So what I thought while giving the wireframing was the title of that wireframing, I made it in a storytelling format to wireframes to visualize. So I just wanted to convey that I have done wireframings to visualize the solution I'm going to create.
Correct.
But then now, as you said, it still looks like a very, what a templated work because they are coming up as a process wireframe and building information. Correct. So how to overcome this? Like, simple. What should be the manner?
Yes, I told you that in the review also, but again, I'll tell you here as well. See, not just you, actually, literally all 6 reviews I gave this roast on coming to wireframes. Everyone just dumped their wireframes over here. That's a very common mistake people do, right? You even put a structured information flow. Thank God you didn't call it information architecture.
No, no chance. I
Right.
well thought, okay, what should I write instead of architecture?
See, it's not wrong. It is the architecture which you have built. You can call it information architecture. It's just that it is being used very artificially by a lot of number of people. But still, even if you have called it information architecture or structured information flow, these 2 sections still have a problem. That is,
Okay.
why are they here?
Yeah.
How do they fit into this particular story? Let's say, okay, you're starting. Let's explore the steps start to finish. Phase 1, you started. Understanding problem statement. I could follow it nicely. Then what happened here? How is it? How are these understanding the problem statement and then competitive analysis for needs? Instead, probably, or anyway, let me come here. Instead, is there one small line which can actually explain why is it I've considered this particular flow? How is it related to some of the previous section? You put your wireframes over here. Actually, I'll talk about wireframes also. But before that, is there a connecting line? Why does wireframes make sense after this particular structured information? Why? What is the logic? You have that logic. It's not that you don't have the answer. It's just that not available over here. Before I come back to the wireframes, what you could have done is changed these lines. Understanding problem statement. That's fine. Instead of that, okay, fine. Understand problem statement is still fine. Okay. How I analyzed competitors to understand my problem or get more context of my problem. Right? That line I can connect with understanding how I understood the problem statement and how is it that I analyze the competitors to connect to understand more context about my problem is connecting to it.
Okay.
And how I came up with the structure of the product to solve the particular problem, And or this is how I iterated while I was solving the problem. In that phase 1, these wireframes, phase 2, I had these ideas, phase 3 or whatever, like iteration 1, 2, 3. Because wireframing, it's very natural that you have multiple iterations of wireframes. Nobody just gets only one iteration of wireframes. It's not possible. Because ideas are vague, and when you are in wireframing stage, you will be doing things in a vague manner. And as you keep getting more clarity, your wireframes keep getting much better. That's how they are in a real way, right? So in that way, your headings are themselves connected. That's what I keep saying, right? Even if I just read the headings, I can still understand the particular story. And in the end, and within those headings also, explanation of how is it connected. While I was actually solving this particular problem, I realized that I was getting multiple ideas and I was jotting it down. I'm representing all the ideas over here. Since you have already seen those final versions, I also want to show some of these ideas or whatever. Then I can get the context of why are you putting this particular wireframes over here.
Okay.
So the thing is, yes, you have done it in a genuine way. Because of a lot of artificial case studies, a lot of formula case studies, there is a threat. There is a danger that people consider yours also being artificial in these particular stages.
Okay.
Not the other ones. Okay.
Okay.
Even this also I called, right? I mean, you didn't call it personas.
Yes.
To target, and then you are like this fashion geek and the Kasturi and all. Again, it's not wrong. Now you have interviewed 2 people, and both people are fitting to 2 different personas. But that's not how it happens, frankly speaking. Your personas represent a large number of people. You cannot relate. You have personas. You can target people according to your persona and interview.
Yeah.
It's not the other way around that you have interviewed people and then giving a persona to them. You got it, right?
Yeah.
Probably even represent it in that manner. I targeted 2 different types of people. Put the target. I'm looking for fashion geeks and I'm looking for these traits. And then I'm also looking for bookworms and I'm looking for these traits. And then when I went and hired them, I found these people and that's whom I've interviewed and got these things. I can map the first speaker to a fashion geek because I've targeted the fashion geek.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense.
That's it. So these things, if I stop here, right, probably in the first 2 minutes scan, nobody will notice all these things. But when I'm doing a portfolio review, let us say, in sitting in an interview, I stop here and then I'm confused. I'm like, okay, why did you even do testing, bro? I mean, why are you decorating this and saying fashion geek and all that stuff? And then, of course, you will be saved even if you have a very good answer in this manner. Hey, it's not that I'm calling these users as fashion geek or bookworm or whatever. I've targeted these people and then I interviewed these people because that is right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sir.
So
in this last iteration part, like, should I again go through all the explanation of what all got changed from the first to final?
No, so that's what you're thinking, right? You're thinking like people have read everything on the top and now they'll just relate.
Okay.
No, instead, I think, where did I find this? I think in Abhishika's. Look at this. Clearly, this was a before, this was after. What did she change? Probably not the entire story, like just simple. She added this trending icon over here. It's a simple one, but it's clearly, I can see the focus. What is the change?
Yeah.
Or Shefali even kept an animation.
Yeah, I saw that.
Right? It kind of expands and this one comes. Right? Here also it's clearly visible before and after. So that way you could have represented, right, and explained a little bit more on why, what is that you have done, why did you add this particular thing and all that stuff. Or even connected it back to an insight, right? Now, pre-iteration post, why are these iterations even happening, Kushagar? That's the first question.
Yeah.
Is it because of usability testing? Is it because of you yourself felt that you wanted, like that reasoning is missing?
Okay.
You could have as well just removed this and call it as a pre-iteration. Also, one more thing, I didn't know why you just made these plain vanilla things and say coming soon and all. You built such a robust system you've built. I've seen your Figma file as well. And it's very good. But why did you do this? I didn't understand. You could have just kept some real pictures or something like that. No, some video or something. It would have been amazing.
Videos were not working because
at least something like this, right? This is like this makes sense. No, I
don't know why I removed
wireframe or
iteration.
Yeah, if there's a wireframe or there's a video supposed to come, or you like what is this?
I'm just conveying there has to be a video, but I don't know why I removed the images later on. The images were there in the start.
This entire section, like look at this. These are all
wireframes.
These are just wireframes only, but yeah. So it was affecting all these sections. But anyway, of course, see, if you are explaining a decision in this manner, I would say use as high fidelity as possible, because here I cannot understand what are you even referring to. I told this in critical reviews time also.
Yes.
Low fidelity is difficult for others to understand. For you, it helps when you are iterating. You can showcase, but when you're presenting, you need to show high fidelity. High fidelity is what people get clarity from. Stakeholders cannot understand low fidelity the way you do. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's the thing.
That's also like that's all. Like the rest of the other, more like visual feedbacks, and I know I have to improve visuals, so I really don't need to ask anything.
Visuals, of course, we will be covering some parts of it in level 3 also. We'll be understanding color theory in depth, and probably you'll understand, you'll observe good visuals and all, then probably you'll improve. But in general, even if you go for accessibility, is like bad, right? I mean, like,
yeah,
even like just principle of focus or whatever. I mean, what was that? Just all principle.
Focal point.
Principle of focal point or whatever. Right? And this is distracting. This background is distracting. Right?
Yeah. Even Sai bro pointed it out, bro, why is it moving in the background? And I was so lazy at that time because I did a lot of work with the critical decision part. So I was like, let me write the case study.
So I said, like, what are these red blood cells and white blood cells doing? Yeah.
So now I can go and change these things, right? Now that we have given the review, I can definitely change them.
Simple background. Put a high screen over there, right? Use like minimal colors, and like usually backgrounds are not like just lighter versions. Then colors which are making sense. Now this color is not going with the background. Very clear.
Yes. And it's nowhere in the presentation also.
Go to the color wheel, understand what colors go with what. Of course, we'll cover these things in level 3. But if you get hints from what I'm saying, you'll be understanding multiple ways of defining color combinations. So it's very easy also. On Figma also, it's pretty easy because you need to just play with HSL values. The H value is basically mathematically, you can derive it out of a 360-degree circle. SNL value you can keep the same, and you'll reach multiple different colors, right?
Yes.
So it's a pretty simple concept only, but you can try and you can drastically improve in your usage of colors.
Sure, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Hello, Abhishika.
Yeah, hi, sir.
Yeah, congratulations on finishing this project. I am definitely sure that you have a lot of sense of accomplishment. Yeah.
Yeah, but then I could have made the case study better, I feel.
No, this is what you feel after watching your review. That's such an amazing thing. I mean, I didn't tell you this, but I actually wrote it here in my review notes. Before I reviewed, I made some notes. I wrote it
Okay.
down, job worthy case study. I marked it.
Oh,
Kept it over.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Case study is good. I mean, obviously, as I said, product thing that also is very good. I just said, add on to that. Okay, let's go and look at it. Right.
Yeah.
So, see, my reviews will be like, at whatever level you do, that is the kind of feedback you will get. Yeah. If you do it at a very good level, I'll take you to that particular
Yeah,
level.
actually, the thing was like, since I had to submit it by Sunday itself, so if you see in the case study, like where I wrote user interviews, I have not specified the user name and everything because I was in a hurry, so I just wrote down the points.
No, that's fine.
So,
I didn't even call that. No, I tell you what. I think
okay.
talking about this.
So that was one thing that I had to ask. So is this fine to write like that?
Again, you take charge. It's fine. There's no rule saying that you have to write the user names, you have to present them as this and all that stuff. Do you want to tell a story that you are actually going and doing this research?
You can search for it. Yeah.
So in usability testing, now it's your wish. Now, let's say this is your usability testing. You did not want to go into the specifics of what you got from users and all the stuff. You just rather wanted to just quickly talk about the insights. It's fine. That's your choice, right? Now, do you want to take a choice that you want to prove to people that this data is valid? You want to prove that, so then you can put their user names and stuff like that, what they're coming from and all. You don't want to prove that, you don't have to.
Yeah.
That's your wish.
Okay.
Again, for everyone's case study, that's what I said. Do not write case studies backwards from what is supposed to be there. There is no formula.
Yeah.
What is supposed to be there? What is your story? What, in the time which people have to read, what is the impression you can give about yourself? What do they want to understand that your skills are? You do that, it's great.
Okay.
Now, places where people have kept things artificially, I've said remove it. For you, I did not have those kind of complaints. But let's say you saw in Kushagra's thing, right? Where I felt it's not that they did it artificially, it feels artificial to the recruiter because I interviewed from that particular point of view. It doesn't matter if you are genuine or not, right? In the end, the recruiter should feel that you are a genuine person, right? Only those places I said better even remove it.
So one thing I have is, Anudeep, like how you said, right? Like to get a better understanding of UX processes so that my solutions are more efficient. So I had a query like where do I start? Like how do I get to know more about UX processes? The same thing I have with UI as well. Like how you said, like if you're given a screen, like make an app that can do this. Right. Now to get that ideas, I need to, replicate more screens, look into more apps like that.
That's right.
Yeah. So that's the question that I have. Like, how can I know more about UX processes? Like how you've asked me to do.
Correct. Short answer, level 3. But I'll tell you a long answer. Now, the point is the textbook way of learning UX processes is to understand a bunch of processes and then trying and seeing where do they fit in your project, right?
Yeah.
Non-textbook way of learning UX process is identifying what were your shortcomings. Now, let's say in your review, I said, let's go and here to the trend. This one I said, right? I said these counts and all are there. That's fine. But can you think more? Can you actually think more in terms of how can you go and recommend it and probably interrupt the user while they are actually going and purchasing? Let's say they're purchasing over here. You're seeing trending near you. That's fine. That's one idea. That's also there. But what I said is, can you go and think of more ways in which you can interrupt the user's journey or the way they're trying to shop and give them that this is better for you? I said this.
Yeah.
Now, what you need to do is in a non-textbook way, you should think like this, right? Okay, how do I interrupt? What is there? Like, how can I get this better idea that people need to notice this? If you start thinking in this manner, then you'll start thinking like, okay, for this, I need to understand the user a little bit more or the way they do these things a little bit more. Go and Google it. Are there any UX processes or anything? Go to ChatGPT and ask, right? Which can help me understand how user behaves in a better manner. Then you will get a bunch of processes. Go and do journey mapping. If you do a journey mapping, you will actually analyze each part of a customer's journey in a detailed manner. And then you can think of more solutions at each part of the journey. Okay. So let's see, you have presented a flow over here. Okay.
Yeah. So there was one more question regarding that, sir. So like, how is a user journey different from a user flow?
I discussed this in calls. But now that you have asked,
Like now when I do it, like
So,
those are the
how
questions
do
that are
you-
coming
that's what I'm
up.
saying. That's why in the non-textbook manner, though that's the point. No, UX processes won't make sense if you approach in a textbook manner. You'll never understand. But now instantly you'll understand if I explain it. What you have
Yeah.
put over here is the road. This is the road which the user is taking. Correct?
Yes.
Correct? The journey is what the user is experiencing while traveling on this road.
Okay.
Are they having
Steps.
questions over here? What do you call an experience? Right? You want to go and fetch a milk packet from your house. There is a road, there's a shop, there's a
Yeah.
road, there's a house. The pathway is the flow. But what's
Yeah,
your
yeah.
journey, right? You anticipating, oh, when should I get started? Oh, it's already getting late. Maybe all the milk packets are over. You are thinking about all those things. You're trying to go and hurry, you're trying to run. But what's happening? The road is not good enough for you to go and take a run, right? So because
Yeah.
you're writing down what's the problems, what are the feelings and all this stuff which are having there, related to the flow which is happening over here, you can go and make that particular road better. Until
Okay.
then, you wouldn't even realize why should you go and make that road better. It looks like very good over here.
Yeah.
Makes sense, right? Now, if you go to the user, see, for now, people like, okay, I need to recommend them. I recommended them a card. I said trending. Ho gaya kaam. But then you go to a journey, right? How would people want to be recommended, right? Or how are people going and making a purchase decision? You go into their journey at every step. Let's say there's a listing.
Yeah.
There is some consideration about here on how they decide which item to go and pick. Go into that.
Okay.
What are the kinds of decisions? What kind of feelings? What thoughts they're having over there? What emotions are they carrying over there? If you look at all those things, then you will be able to define multiple problems. Okay, is trending enough? No. You know what? Probably I have this idea. I told this in the review also. I have this idea. In Swiggy, when I add something to the cart, then once one whole section pops up and says, probably to add these also. It is interrupting me in my journey and taking me to take that decision. Very well, nicely placed. It's not coming before or after. It's coming exactly at the time where I would actually look for other things along with it. How did they come up with that idea? Because they analyze the journey of how a user is taking the purchase decision.
Okay.
Right? This is what journey mapping is. Now, if you go on Google, right? Now this diagram, I'll show you. There's a very fancy diagram which people keep using here. This one, right? This ups and lows and all that. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
I love this. All these things, right? People keep a lot of emotions and all that also, right? In their journey maps.
Yeah.
All this will make sense. Because you understanding, frankly speaking, a journey map is nothing but an XY diagram of there's a journey and you are plotting multiple things. It can be emotions, it can be activities, it can be feeling rewarded, it can be problems, it can be anything. You can plot anything across a journey. You going to a milk booth, you can plot anything across a journey.
Yeah.
Right? In that way, you actually make this journey and you can make the journey better. And then a lot of other ideas.
Okay, so sir, like this one I had, like, so let's say we are in the product detail page, like that one t-shirt detail page. Okay,
Correct.
so below that, if I have something like how Myntra does it, frequently bought together, or this will be an example of disrupting the user journey, right?
No, this is one idea. That's fine. You can just stop worrying about that and get the higher point. That's fine. Whether it is disrupting or should it not disturb is also a debate. This is one idea I am telling you. Right? As an example, I told you that probably you could have thought about disrupting the user's journey over there to make that decision. What if that is not right? Which you'll only understand if you actually analyze the customer's journey. Right? Now, what I'm trying to say is textbook ways of doing customer journey is to go and say, oh, I need to do a journey only in this shopping consideration process in the funnel. No, that's also wrong again. Right? You can do a journey wherever you want. You only want to make a journey starting from listing page, ending in listing page, you can do it. Because the customer is doing a journey here also. They're coming to this page, they're looking for items, they're going and stopping at one particular place, selecting it, and then going out of the page. This entire thing is also a journey, right? And what do you want to plot? If you plot, that's it. So many ideas will come, so many problems will come out of there, and so many ideas will come out of that. Right? And that's why you keep becoming better product mature. That's it. That's what I meant to say. So what I appreciated is you have the maturity to go and come up with a solution which has multiple touch points. I can see that you try to do something on the home page, and then you went to listing page, and then the checkout, right? In that way, multiple touch points you touched. So for that, I give 100 out of 100. So told that in your review also, right?
Yeah.
Next level. There's the next level. Or else, welcome to level 3. We'll practice all these things.
Yeah.
And even in UI, I told you, right? You need to even see, get an idea for better UI. How will
Looking
you
at more screens.
That's right. Looking at more screens is the way you make yourself better at visual skills. But UI is not just about visual skills, na? It's about you coming into UI elements which has those UI interactions. You are underutilizing the UI elements which you could have used to actually bring in this particular feature. Right?
Yeah, so that is one thing that is not there.
All you have in your mind is one card. That's one kind of a UI element. What are the other kinds of UI elements? What kind of interactions can users take? Like, how will you get the idea that the cards can expand and something can come and like something on the left can come? How will you get this idea? Only if you go and observe enough UI elements and interactions in multiple other places.
Yeah.
And I might have practiced it. I'm talking about UI. I'm not talking about visuals, which I've separated in the review also. Visuals, yes. You need to understand how, you need to basically practice and understand how other places, how visuals they are doing, and you yourself need to practice spacings and all that I told in your review also. This is what is there. You are loyal to that design system. But even being loyal to their design systems, could you have corrected some of the mistakes which they themselves have done? Because after all, it's your project.
Yeah, so this thing happened. Like when I went for usability testing, people were bringing out faults on the UI screen of Bewakoof itself.
That's right. I said, let's say it's hard. It's not properly aligned. I told this in your review as well.
Yes.
And so you could have made it better. It's not very difficult to actually recreate this particular card because anyway, you're working on it, right? So these small changes also you can do. Though you're trying to be loyal to what they have done, right? These small improvements can actually also prove your own skills and also become more practice.
Yeah.
So nobody's blocking you from going and improving the visuals of this particular section itself. But for better UI, I'm telling you, UI is a very difficult thing. UI is very difficult. Visual design is very easy. You understand basics of visual design, immediately fonts and colors and spacing. It's actually very simple to create a very good vision. But to do very good UI, to understand what kind of elements should I bring, what kind of interactions should I actually put over here, that is a very difficult task. Right? Not a lot.
So for that, to develop that, like I know where I need more practice. Like in case of variants and things like that, I need more practice. So what would you?
That is tool skills. UI is different, tool skills is different, visual design is different. All three differently I've covered in your review also.
Okay.
Don't mix them.
Okay.
Yeah. Variants and all will improve your tool skills. That is your knowledge about Figma, which I told over here. You could have actually represented clearly on how did see. Let us say you go and look at this Shefali's case study, right? Look at this. She's showcasing these elements. I can see that it is actually there on Figma. Right?
Yeah.
I can understand that she has good Figma skills over here. This is tool skills, right? You also done that, but these are components, I understand. But could you have, I said you could have organized the components in a better manner. There should have been meaningful organization of why these components are sitting over here, or probably took screenshots directly from the tool, right?
Yeah.
Probably this is, you have made a section and then all the titles have all gone, but it is good to see the raw tool screenshots over here. Then I can understand you can handle Figma very well, right?
Yes. Yeah.
This is tool skills. Let's come back. UI, that means the micro assessment is there even in level 2, right? Many micro assessments are there. Go and understand multiple products, how they're doing their UI. That means not just visuals, not just tool skills. How are they using multiple UI elements? And what are the interactions of each of these elements? What kind of affordance, what kind of signifiers? How are they using these interactions to actually go and communicate what action a user can possibly take? Observe these things. How did I get that idea when Swiggy does this? Because I'm observing when Swiggy does that, immediately I note it down. Oh, this is the action which is happening over there. These are decisions which user can take over there. This is a signifier. Using this animation, they're actually signifying that this is possible. I'm observing all these things.
Yeah, true.
And that's when I'll get that idea when I'm making that UI. That's why I can come up with an animated idea. Make sense?
Got it, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one last thing was like in the critical decisions, right? You said that it's a bit text heavy. I think Ushagra also raised this point. So like how can we, so basically what I tried to do there is like for every critical decision, I figured out like this is what is good for that and this is the cons for it. So how can we not make this text heavy? Like,
No, that's fine. There's nothing wrong in the way. So you've also kept pointers and all, which is good. I'm saying you have not considered that people it'll be very difficult for people to read all this. You've assumed that people will read is what I'm saying.
yeah.
Your question is again wrong. Sorry, the internet.
Sir, I think your video has.
Not just video, internet is off. Just give me a.
Okay.
If you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, you're asking the wrong questions. Wrong question. How do I reduce the text is the wrong question. How do I make sure people can read this is the question. How might we make this particular section more readable? That is the right how might we to ask. How might we reduce the amount of text which is there is the wrong. That is the problem. Because you're looking for reducing text, you will not understand what to reduce over here. If you're looking for how do I make sure people can scan this information in a much better manner, you will get a lot of ideas.
Okay. Yeah. That's correct. Yeah.
Yes. So how do you make sure people can scan this quickly? Come up with those ideas. Probably highlight few things, connect few things, visually represent in a better manner, use some emojis. These are multiple solutions can come.
Yeah.
Because the goal is clear in your mind. Now these solutions will start making sense. If that goal is not clear, you will read a lot of tips. People say use emojis. People have done all that, randomly throwing emojis and GIFs in their case studies. Why that GIF is there? What is happening? No idea, no clue.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's what people cannot read all this. They won't read all this. So how do you make it more engaging is the problem. You will get solutions if you think like this.
Yeah.
Yep. Awesome.
Yeah, got it, sir.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Abhishika. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. So now I can go ahead and redo this, right? Like just make the edits.
This is your case study. What I would say is make presentation edits you can change, but whatever you understood after the review in some of the product decisions and all that stuff, right? Those you can add as those things you can add on as what you have learned after your review or stuff like that, right? Because the delta is very important. People can see that this is what has happened before. Now I've learned few things and I've improved. Showcase the delta and be proud about it, right? You go and talk to a recruiter and all that. Just be proud of it and say like, hey, you know what? This I've actually learned and made myself better. I have that willingness to learn. See, look at this. Yeah. Don't cover up your mistakes. That's not the intention. Learn and iterate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you very much.
So, yeah.
I really like that attitude.
Yeah, but I did go through the review and I realized I went from way before PTC. So a lot of UI skills from there I have to start again. So one thing I'm very happy about right now today is that I know exactly where I went wrong. And according to the review, it was bang on. So I know what exactly I should focus on. So I know where I should start.
Very good. Very happy. I was looking forward how you'll take that review.
I was actually getting happier as I was watching the video because one of my problems or one of my issues was that I did not know where to focus on actually. So right now I know this is the place that I should focus on first. So I know the hierarchy of the importance to it.
Yes. Awesome. Very good. Okay. Let me showcase your case study.
So one question I had is, so what happened in this case study? Because I started late also. I started with storytelling format. Then I was like, okay, this is not going to get over in the timeline. I just dumped it everything because I knew that anyway I'm going to get roasted for this. I might just get roasted all the way. So
it's good. It's good that you finished things. You finished and submitted. That's definitely good spirit. People who finish races are much better than those who never. That way it is good, right? You're not waiting until the perfection comes and then you submit and what's the point? At least now you know all the action points, which I've given a lot of action pointers.
Yeah. So
not being a marketing agent for Decathlon. Some paragraphs you have written about Decathlon, no use.
Yeah. At this point, I'm just going to keep this case study as a monument of what is wrong. Because, yeah, this is the base point. But one question I had was like, so I had made this video in the beginning. You had then mentioned that in the review. So, like, would that help in the case study at all? Or if I should, like, if I'm considering something like that, should I do something like that?
This one?
Yeah.
I didn't see this actually. Did you make this?
Yes.
Let's watch. Right. Wow. Dude, how come this video is missing in your case study, dude?
It's actually there in the first part now. Like,
where?
Yeah, it's not visually that this one. Yeah.
This.
Yeah.
See, that's why I think that's why you got roasted. I mean, because see, the whole roast was because of the communication, the lack of communication. I'm not getting anything from this case study. Right?
Yeah.
And now I understand what you even built. Until now, I didn't even understand what you wanted to build. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll give you a quick tip. Anyway, mates, you're good in this video making skills and all. Like you made this?
Yeah. Like I took my friend's help. I shot the thing.
Awesome,
so I spent a lot of time over there.
Marketing background or something.
Yeah, like I'm a graphic designer, like in the marketing department.
That's the thing I can see, because see, you are even in your case study is more marketing, but you're just failing at marketing your own self. You're putting Decathlon. You're not marketing your own self, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, the tip is, you've taken these small snippets, like this guy is trying to take a starting of the journey, right? Continue this particular journey. This particular snippet could have gone as a GIF over here as the problem or whatever, or could have even explain your solution, could have explained, right?
Yeah.
I told that in your review also, saying that instead of all this crap, right? Directly show me what your solution is. Okay. Imagine, you told a story like this. Imagine there's a person who wants to start running. Put that GIF of the person starting to run.
Sure.
And then the person would actually say, start their particular trip. They want to actually go and redeem a particular award. Put that next GIF small clip. Once they're done with their run, probably you can represent this entire run like a map. On a map, you can show that you have taken this run to that run, some 2 kilometers. Put that diagram over there. In the end, you put this particular snippet, redeem reward, and that person is happy, right?
Yeah.
Now, what you have done is you would have made, now also you can do that. You've taken an experience, a gamification experience, on how in real world someone can feel gamified because of the way they would want to go and do a physical activity. And you related it to how it can support, how that can be supported within the product which you have built. That story can clearly be visible, and then say, and thus a user is gamified to actually go and buy this particular product. And that's how I introduced gamification in Decathlon. Even that itself would have been a very great case study. All this is coming because you're looking backwards from a textbook definition of how a case study has to be written. You don't have to. You literally don't have to. This video itself is a great explanation of your skills, how you considered a journey of a user, on how you can gamify, you can intervene in between a person's purchase decisions, and you consider that they might want to get some rewards. They have to go and run and do something, and then they can get a reward. The story is already being told in this particular video. Can you write it in a documented format? Because again, people will not watch videos because now there is time. So therefore, I'm watching this video when I just didn't even know that this video existed. over here,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And recruiters don't watch videos. In presentations, people watch. Like if you go on presenting your case study, then you could have started with this video because you have their attention, you have their time, right? There, these videos will work. But when you're submitting your portfolio, people just quickly scan your portfolio and projects. There, even if there was a documented version, a visually documented version of the same video, your case study will do wonders. Even now, you can do that. And cut all this crap. Nobody needs to know what Decathlon is. Sorry, probably this crap makes sense while you're taking some decisions. Okay, how did I take a decision to understand when would a user redeem their points? Then go backwards, saying that, hey, in Decathlon, these users behave in this particular manner. They can see their clothes or whatever, they can reminded of the Decathlon, whatever reasons you might want to. Then probably something about Decathlon might make sense, right? Decathlon is in more than 60 countries worldwide. How does this statement make sense? If at all, you can translate it into saying that this product feature, Decathlon, this product feature can be used by a lot of people across the world because going and doing workout is common across a lot of countries. Majorly in these countries, they have a very good habit of going and running and getting some rewards for people going and doing their workout or whatever. And Decathlon is primarily there in these particular countries. And therefore, my feature is scalable to all these countries. That is a very mature product call out.
Sure.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's not just for India, but it's also for a lot of other countries which have similar behaviors. Why? Because Decathlon is also there in 60 other countries, and to those people, catering those people who showcase similar behaviors. Right? That's how you translate all these things. The context you are putting, I don't even know if you have had the context, but now you have the context.
Yeah.
Why are you even talking about it? But people who consume will not have that particular context. That's the thing. So I honestly thought all you did is add this community icon and nothing else. Did not understand anything else.
Yeah, I did not explain it over here at all.
So
I think by this
and like, what happened?
Yeah.
What's happening? Right?
Yeah. Huh.
That's it. Now you got it. Now you might have got it. So put your effort in presenting the solution in a nice manner. Right? Everyone who has, like, even Raj, who got a roast case study, at least this person's video, right? The prototype video, at least telling what solution it is, right? You can go and voice search and you can put, even this got a very big roast, right? So at least in Sriram Manogar, see, look at it. The solution is being explained this particular manner. So put that effort, explain the solution. In the last 2 weeks, you can go and watch those recordings. Last 2 weeks, we have kept so much effort in understanding how to write better case studies.
Yes. Yeah.
You focus to that. The reason why, Shefali, Kushagra, and everyone like Abhishika, the reason why their case studies are like very informative and all is because we invested time in doing that exercise on how to write meaningful case studies which people would give attention to.
Yeah.
So that's what Sriraj. So your thinking was good. It's just that the writing part, yes, you probably spent only 2 hours writing this case study. Spend a week. Spend a week. Good that you submitted. Now you have a week's time to nicely go and improve this particular case study. Smart. You're a smart person. Yeah. You can take this roast. You can happily. You don't have to worry. This invalidation of your skills. In fact, this only validates. This only gives you confidence that, hey, you know what? These are the places where I can just go and improve myself because I have these skills. Whatever Anudeep is talking about, it's just that I need to present myself there. That's it. That's what has happened. It doesn't say that you are not a skillful person, right?
Yeah, I know exactly like where should I focus on. Right? So that's what makes me very happy to.
Yeah. Any other question? You have 4 minutes more.
Yeah, and the mobile first view. So like if I'm making the case study again, should I think that, okay, this should be viewed on mobile first, and then that will be the
majority of people view your case study on mobile. In portfolio presentations, and definitely some recruiters might view it on desktop. So it's optimizing it for both is important. People have done that in multiple other. So even let's say Abhishika, she has balanced it in few places she didn't, and I called that out. But let's say this is something which I can view on desktop and even on mobile. I can understand it, right? So in that way, you balance out between what's there in mobile and desktop, right? Also, people have used other tools as well, right? This kind of like, it works both in mobile and desktop, right? Though on desktop, these cards are a little heavy, but this tool automatically resizes stuff and all that, right? So in a way, people can understand, can consume it both on mobile and desktop as well. and you can explore these things. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah, those were all my doubts.
That's it, bro.
So,
Just get away from these textbook meanings of wireframing. Though I don't even know if you have done it genuinely or not. So
so one mistake this was, I guess, a mistake during the PDC.
Huh.
So while talking to the user and making the changes, I did not keep the older versions of it. I just made the changes on the existing design.
got it.
So that's one issue I've like pointed out
You
on
need to always save your iterations. Always you need to save your iterations. I always any iteration coming from product manager, my own iteration, always my files are filled up with minimum 100 iterations. Minimum 100. All my files within a month, I have 100 iterations of my Figma file. Like every day, the date will be there in multiple dates. The time will be there. Multiple iterations will be there. I always save my iterations.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's another point I've noted down from the review itself.
To preserve them, because rags to riches is one of the best stories which always gets sold, right? I was telling that today in the Lilon call as well, right? How do you create an engaging story? Writing a story, fine, that's fine. A story is about a set of incidents connected to one another. The better you connect, the better a story is. How do you write a very engaging story, right? People really need to connect with the emotion of the particular story, and one of those the best stories which people can connect to is rags to riches. So write a rags to riches story on how vague your ideas were to start with, and how did you iterate and build a very good product.
Got it. Yeah, thanks a lot, Anudeep.
Okay, welcome to the next person. On to the, what do you call that? In the court, they have that thing, no, where people will step in.
Hearing.
Sorry, hearing, but what do you call that exact thing? I don't know. So, firstly, congratulations on completing this project, and not just a project, completing the entire level 2 with a lot of sincerity. I think that is what really can be really seen. You're there in volunteering, that's fair, but the amount of sincerity which you have shown even in completing all those modules, doing it and being very sincerely there, the transformation can be seen in your work. I think that is something which I'm very proud of. Where else will results even come from? Yeah.
Thank you, Anudeep. I was literally, after watching my feedback, Abhi, in the evening, I was thinking like, if I wouldn't have done the volunteering, probably I wouldn't have had the guts to actually take so many chances in my PDC. So I am also amazed. Like, I think I really put my heart and soul. I did everything what was coming my way.
Absolutely. Very, I learned a lot. That sincerity is really coming out in your work. Amazing. Of course, we'll show your case study. But today, say it, Shefali.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so congratulations, Shefali also got a job offer. Like that, one of the most textbook results. You do PDC, you submit it, you showcase your case study, someone reaches out to you, get a job offer. Over.
Yeah.
So good. Congratulations, Shefali. Probably you can share those details with us later. Yeah. So, but anyway, okay. So yes, so you might have seen your review. So let me know what questions you have. And obviously, I also have a lot of pointers. For context, she has written a very, very good case study, guys. Amazingly, of course, if you watch the review, there'll be things which they can make better and all that stuff. But it was so good that I actually started comparing her with senior designers rather than comparing her with freshers, right? Because the kind of product decisions she has done, the way she has come up with all the thinking and all that was pretty good. UI is pretty good. Visual skills is something which is, let's improve on that. The spacings, the icons, the color usage and all that stuff. I spoke in detail in your review. I think those are the things which need improvement. But your UI skills and your tool skills are like, you can start giving tutorials to people now. That's where they are. Yeah. Go ahead, ask your doubts, Shefali.
So I really loved what you said about having a reward system which was non-cost incentive, right? So I think that is something I will really work on. I mean, my mind is already working. So,
so that is not a simple problem to solve. I'm able to tell because I myself worked, it's been 8 months I've been working on a reward system, and this is the biggest battle. How to make a reward system in such a way that it is not cost intensive to the business. Users feel rewarded and the business doesn't shell out a lot of money. That's the thing about a reward system, right? I mean, see, ultimately, why do we even have a gamified reward system in place? If you think of it, you already have your offerings, right? And people are not buying those things. People need to be gamified within the system to go and make those purchase decisions and all that stuff, right? And if you see both the user side of the reward system and the business side of the reward system, now let's take the business side. The business wants these higher conversions and higher retention, right? They want more people to feel gamified and use and buy the products. That's one thing. But what is on the user side? Why do you need to make them feel rewarded? If you go and do your research, go and talk to people, you'll understand there's a lot of gaps in which how people consider that they do not feel enough rewarded for doing those particular actions as well. People already have these voice VOCs, or what we call it, right? People voice out these concerns that I'm doing this, but I'm not getting anything. You're getting the product, but what else? Ajio should do more. So, and what more? What do they want? They want certain kinds of acknowledgement. They want to stand out separately. They want to know that they are someone who is special from other people who are buying more or buying less. These are things actually coming out from people more than we tricking them or anything, right? So a genuine reward system understands more about how do people feel rewarded in a genuine manner and what do they actually want, and brings those particular pointers and gamifies the system. In this way, the load to the business is lesser, because sometimes even making people feel that they are this elite or icon and style, more than actually giving out more number of points for elite, right, itself can act as reward. You are now elite and you are eligible for these things. Showcasing that they are elite is already rewarding for a lot of people, not just giving higher cashback. Or pointers. So this is one example, right? Of course, we can't go very specific in this exact idea, but in this way, then there'll be a lot of other insights which you can get, right? If you go and understand behaviors of how people feel rewarded. For that, what you would have done is made a journey map. Right? I told in the Abhisheka's review also, right? If at all you made a journey map and understood how is it that you can, at each point of how a person is taking that purchase decision, right? Or probably even within the cart, right? You've only selected the cart. Within the cart, if they have to go and make that particular decision, right? What are all the things which people are thinking? How do they feel that the feeling of rewarded? How does it happen? Make that particular journey, write down all those thoughts, feelings, things which are there, what are the blockers, opportunities, and all that stuff. If you write those things down, you will get all these particular ideas. And once you have this journey, you go and do your research. We did not do primary research in this particular project, right? But this journey can trigger you to go and do a lot of primary research. Go and talk to people about what are the ways in which they feel rewarded. Once you get those insights, you will obviously be able to go and get much better ideas over here. This is one idea, that's fine. What are the much better ideas about how they feel that they are special, how they feel that they are getting rewarded, right? A lot of ideas will come. And then when you go and look at competitors, these ideas will also be there in some other form, right? Not just the competitor. So see, when you did your competitor research, you directly went and looked at reward-based system in H&M. That is one way of doing competitor research. But if you do a journey and understand patterns, similar problems being solved in multiple other places, not just reward systems, but people feeling rewarded in other ways can also be found out, because you're now looking for those things. Here you're only looking for a reward-based system. So that's the only thing which you're studying in your competitor research. But if you go deeper towards feeling rewarded and feeling special, then you have a lot of space to actually go and explore and get those ideas. So yes, again, as a fresher, this is impossible to get here. This review is totally to an experienced person. But I only have that to tell you. Like, I mean, you have nailed it as a fresher. So this, and I don't have to tell you. The moment you got a result, you proved it by yourself, right? So, but yes, so this is your next. Now, this is your goal, right? Product maturity is your goal, and obviously improving your visual skills as a part of it. If you really improve your visual skills over there, very easy also, right? Because I myself can clearly see, but that small spacings and all, like, see, this number is literally touching this circle. It's very uncomfortable. That 5K though is, I don't know why it's going off. It's taking off.
I kind of made a animated thing, acceleration.
Anyway, that's probably still fine. But by the way, even when you've designed this, you might have realized that this is not really scalable, because the starting point and ending point of this number, because this is coming to the center. And where does the center lie? What if the number of points are, you might have used auto layout to keep that thing in the center, but where does it start? What if it starts from 0? What if it starts at very high value? What if this point system is tomorrow scalable to a lot of points? Like, let us say what is like lakhs of points. Then what do you do? Right? All these ideas can come.
So I did kind of start. I said like people will get 100 rupees when they 100 points when they start. And then in the future scope also, I said that there would be like another tier for somebody who passes the elite level. So
Right.
I kind of tried, but I do understand the complication behind it. Also having a
Yes.
dynamic, yeah. So
Scale is very important. I'll tell you one of the problems which we have with these kind of things. So what happens is when you introduce this program, a lot of people will be in pro. In 6 months, a lot of people will be in icon.
yeah.
What do you do now? Will you keep expanding icon, elite and all? That means there should be expiry of these points. How do you handle that expiry?
Yeah.
How do you handle refresh of people going up and down? How do you keep them in that variable reward?
Hmm.
Again, this is too much for a fresher. But these are all mature product decisions and discussions which you can have. Definitely read the book Hooked. It'll definitely help you, because when I said variable reward, it really talks about a lot of gamifying experiences. The book will really help you. Coming back just to your and visual skills, right? The spacings, thinking about that particular scale and the limits, right? I only have this limit to this limit over here. How do I put the scalable information over there? Thinking about these aspects can make you build better systems, right? And simple things like this is all like this thing is very suffocating, right? Because a little more amount of padding. I don't know if you have done this or someone else might have
No,
done.
I did it.
Yeah.
So that is actually a problem that I need to ask you. That's the question. Because my main constraint was space, and I wanted things to be visible also, and I wanted them to be as like small as possible.
Correct.
So yeah, so probably I should have come up with a smaller.
Let's go to the screen. Why should the Style Club ingress be inside this particular widget?
I did that. If you go in the evolution, no, I did that also, but then that was not looking nice. So I kind of included it. Here. Just go up a little bit.
Yeah.
Just go up.
The Style Club has to have some meaning, right? On top of it, you have a chevron. On top of it, you have an icon over here.
Yeah.
The reason why it is failing is because the chevron is not even visible, because it's too much in proximity with that particular icon which you have over here. Where is that particular card? Yeah, right. This icon is too much in proximity with that particular chevron which you have over there, right? So firstly, I don't think it's a very wise thing to do Ajio and Style Club in separate lines. I don't know why you're trying to save the horizontal space. Probably you could have iterated on putting Ajio and Style Club in horizontally. Ajio and Style Club could have come one after the other, right? And you can save the space. And that Style Club, that logo coming in the end, or the icon coming in the end, I don't know. It's kind of disturbing, right? Or probably the entire illustration basically gets a better padding. Even then, it would have been better.
Okay.
So these are purely visual calls, right?
Yeah.
I know you're trying to save space, but that's the point, no? Minimalistic design means it saves space. Understanding what information, how can information be presented and communicated with as much less information as possible, making people take remaining parts as assumptions. That is what minimalistic design is.
Yeah.
So if you have this particular thought process, then you can make your visuals more minimalistic. Then you can take these trade-off decisions, and then your UI will look very good.
Yeah. Cool.
In essence, what I'm trying to say is, you want to make your screen look very good, you need to really understand product. You do not understand product, you cannot, just by going and taking a class about typography or iconography, you can make it, you can just go and throw things, but how to meaningfully do it, how to still save space, how to still put this particular wizard and still have that meaning out of it, all these things will come into picture. That means you will have to understand product at a much better level.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. But one more biggest thing is, I asked you that question in the review also. You turned all of this into the dark mode and all that stuff, which is fine. It's a smart decision, but I don't know, you need to check that. If I'm working in Ajio, I'll immediately ask you that, hey, you've done everything in dark and you use everything in a light and all.
So what I did was, Anudeep, I took their CTA, because I saw in other apps that usually loyalty clubs stand out from their normal color scheme. So
because of various reasons, but yeah, I understand.
Okay.
How much to stand out? What if they want to introduce another program over here? This is a loyalty club, that's fine. Now, what if this is ignored just as a banner? Because everything else, banner blindness is a big issue. You might have known this. Go and look at it, actually. A lot of, let's say, Abhishika has come up with this in the discovery stage. Yeah, she made this banner. as an ingress point, right? A lot of people, it's known that banner blindness is so much that small ingresses, text ingresses have better accessibility, better visibility and discoverability than big banners on the face.
Okay.
So anyway, I won't expect you guys to know all these things. These are not even tested for a fresher. Don't even worry. But I'm still telling you. So, I mean, what if they don't think an interactable element, and what if it's just a banner? So
yeah,
for that reason, I'll have to make the style match with the other interactable elements which are there on the screen, so that I understand that this part is informational, this part is interactive.
Yeah,
How do you put
actually,
that
that is something I came across in the user testing. So the users could not understand that it was interactable and that they could actually click on it to go towards more. And I had the arrow outside pele, but then I kept it inside just because I wanted to make sure that okay, this is the
Go back now.
yeah, but I
Okay.
get it.
Awesome.
Okay. Another question I had was the pictures you said were text heavy. So I kind of tried to keep a balance between the pictures, but yeah, some of these pictures
Because of the inverted colors.
Oh,
It's very difficult to read huge amount of text on a dark background. It's a known pattern,
okay, yes.
which I told you in your review also.
Yeah. I mean, I tried to match the color story with what I had done. So,
Correct.
but
Is that required? Is the question you need to ask, right?
yeah.
Probably the illustrations could have been in dark and the remaining part text could have been with white background and then with a darker font color.
Okay.
That way you could have probably these boxes can be in dark because there's some information which you want to convey with focus and decrease the amount of text. And these things could have been in whiter background, right? So by principle, the reason why it doesn't feel good, it feels very overwhelming is because our eyes cannot process it immediately. It's not natural to read a large amount of text on dark backgrounds.
Yeah. Okay.
So can see all this, right? It's the same thing Kushagra has done, and that was really good, right? So with inverted colors, but of course his choice of colors was pretty bad. But with inverted colors, this whole thing can be processed in a much better manner.
So it's easy on the eyes.
Yes. When you present, now that's different. Now this is a document which I'm reading and scanning. When you present it on large screens, let us say, when you're giving a portfolio presentation, that time people use darker backgrounds because there is focus. So actually there is so much you can read about it. The question goes back to, I don't know if you have watched this in the workshop. I have this video on why Netflix and all these people use dark backgrounds. Yeah. So there's so much actually. If you see, most TV interfaces have dark backgrounds, but mobile interfaces, right, where there is a lot of text, they prefer to keep light backgrounds, right? Wherever there is focus required, which I call it in that Netflix wala drill exercise, saying that designing for focus. Wherever there is focus required, you use a darker background and highlight the particular element. Wherever you want people to consume a lot and read a lot of stuff, you need to turn it into a whiter background and put that text.
Okay.
So this is very interesting read about these particular things, right?
Yeah.
So, but if your entire theme is dark, then you'll have to be very low on text and be very interactive and very. That's why if you see Cred and all, they have very less text because they know that people cannot read a lot of text on that, right? And places where they have to communicate text or communicate some logos and all that, they invert it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's amazing insight. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
One more thing.
Yeah.
Two more things actually.
Yeah.
One is I made a video separately and I posted it separately. Should I have put it in the as a whole at the end, like in a conclusion manner?
What video?
I made a video. It's on LinkedIn. It's not in the case study.
That video I watched, correct?
That video. So should I have put it in the end? Because a lot of people might just see the case study, might never go there as a conclusive kind of a thing.
You can put it in the starting as well. Those who are interested to watch the video can watch the video.
Actually, I didn't put it in
Rather
the
than
starting.
that, as I said, right, that time also I said this. Can you break that video into multiple parts and put them as GIFs within your case study itself to increase, to put your story in a better manner? I know you have done all this also in the video.
Yeah.
Probably the video is not even required here then. Yeah.
That's what I thought. So I didn't put it actually.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Then probably in the end you can put saying that why don't you go to my LinkedIn post and watch this video, or watch this video and also go to my LinkedIn post or something like that.
Yeah, that is.
So yes, but people wouldn't watch an entire video in your case study, especially when they're trying to scan it. That will not happen.
Yeah, but probably providing a link or something.
Yeah. If they would want to, if someone would want to see more, they're so interested, they can go and click on it. But in general, a recruiter wouldn't even immediately click on it. But they would probably consume it on LinkedIn. That's how they'll reach you, right? There it makes sense. Again, here also journey mapping, multiple touch points, design thinking. How do I get attention of people at what point? LinkedIn is calling for attention. Case study is explanation. Once they have your attention, now the case study is telling you how you are a designer, how did you solve a problem. So both need different kind of treatments. Yeah.
Okay. So I had a lot of questions about UX processes that you mentioned, but that journey mapping and everything already you've explained. So I kind of got that. My last question is, how do I get Ajio to see this?
Probably that's why the video helps. Yeah, that's a tricky thing because Ajio has also replied, people in Ajio have replied to previous people who have done their case studies. That way I say that people, and they're just tagged Ajio. But yeah, probably your video is, you have tagged Ajio in your video also in the LinkedIn post?
I don't think I've tagged Ajio in the video, but in the case study I have.
Tag it on your LinkedIn. Now it's a little late because you've already kept that video. You can also tag now, but you can take snippets out of it and repost them on LinkedIn and write down your learnings and say, hey, what if Ajio has a loyalty program? Let's look at, or let's say, I try to make this loyalty program, but let's look at multiple ways in which I've iterated, right? So you showcase the iteration starting, and this is how I've iterated, and then put that point and just make a different post out of it. This also, I've been talking to multiple people. Break down your case study, break down multiple decisions, make small snippets of video, put them on LinkedIn and write the story of how you took that one particular decision. Be it your critical decisions, be it small, the UI changes which you have done, or even the tool skills, the areas where you've used the tools. This is how I have broken this into, like, this is how I've used auto layout. This one small snippet itself can go as a LinkedIn post.
Yeah.
So this is how I've built a system when I try to, this entire component library is what I've built when I actually did a project for Ajio. So there'll be proper zooming in, zooming out of this entire thing in a video. Put that full case study link there in the comments or whatever. So in that way, you can break down your case study into multiple posts and grab attention of people, which people have something to learn from it. Now, if you showcase your component library, there's so much to learn from this component library, right? So in your text is telling the reasoning you did a component library for why and all that, so they can learn from it, from your experience. And the video is basically catching attention. They would want to learn more. So they'll come to your case study.
Yeah.
So that way you will start getting more virality and you will get more number of posts. And your profile is more warm. Right now, you just made one post. Your profile is only warm to that particular post. But right, it can be more warmer. Then keep posting more in context of what you have done.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's okay. Awesome. So thank you very much, Shefali. Yeah. Okay. So with this, we're coming to the end of today's session. So what's these reviews? I hope this is very informational and inspires you to work on these products, right? And this is just one challenge, right? This is one small attempt for us to go and test our skills. Also, you might have learned that I need to be a doer. I need to do stuff and move forward. Everyone got feedback, right? So, but the most important thing is to go and do stuff, right? So don't just negatively compare, oh, I could have done all that I didn't do, so I should just stop showing my case. Instead of doing that, the thing which you have to learn is these people are smart, they're presenting themselves, they're happy to present their imperfections, and very smart to actually present what is that I have to look at and telling their own stories. This is the way you need to look at, right? And others are not even showing. Probably you have a very perfect case study, but it's not there out there. What to do, what to judge you with, right? So this is something which you'll have to learn. So be a doer. Yeah.